folks, if you can raise also the volume due to system.
No.
And members of the media, as you all know that we won the DDC championship this season, also after our number 10 number. Since its inception, we have not won it, so it is a really historic moment for us and the players. We are starting with you, Captain. Just give us a sense of how have you received this medal and lifted this trophy? What has changed in the, in the climate of the locker room and public, attention towards your victory? Just in summary, give us the climate of how is the feeling in camp.
I think it's been a great feeling for every one of us, especially winning this trophy after the 10th year. Since it's been our first time winning this trophy, like Kaizer Chiefs, so I think it was very important for us to win this trophy for this club, because I think playing for this club we have to always be on top and win cups each and every season. So I think it's been a great feeling for every one of us. Everyone has been positive since from the start until the end. So I think it's been a great journey.
Thank you very much, and no stranger to media, in front of media, Coach Sheppard. Just same question. How did we get here? How did we get to lift it? What does it bring to the club and the culture, the philosophy, and all that?
When we started this journey, we had a slogan. Commitment gets you started. Consistency gets you to the end. If you just look at the record, 2 losses, 4 draws, a couple of records broken with the goals scored. I think the least goals conceded. So, very proud. The boys, the performance over the season, the focus was on the performance. Every game, the consistency and what we approach the games with, the intensity of every day, the culture on what we installed there, the levels in which the boys were able to push themselves to. I can only give great credit. It starts with the leadership. Ntando, great leader. I think he's been here 5 years, and after 5 years for him to lift the trophy, I think it's testament to his development, testament to all the players' development and how they've come through. And I sit here today as part of the technical team, very, very, very proud of them.
Thank you very much. Members of the media, a quick 1-2 randomly without interrupting you.
Dillon, you seem to be having a fair share of both eras of the drought and maybe also as a champion yourself, lifting trophies. How is this working psychologically that finally this is happening in your lifetime as a leader within such an institution?
I've lifted obviously trophies as a player, so I knew that feeling. Starting at my old club Wits and under 17s, won a couple of trophies there. If you remember the 2019-2020 season, DDC, when it was cut short, 28 games with COVID, we were 4 points ahead. We were going to win that, so unfortunately didn't take that title. And then got the opportunity to come to this great institution. Picked up great experience in our first season. You get to Africa Champions League final. Not too many coaches can boast that. And then you take the experiences. I mean, it wasn't an easy 4 years. You take the wins, you take the losses. You learn a lot more from the reflection that you get through the losses. It's all experience that goes into the bank. And now, we've got the opportunity to go back down into this wonderful academy and work with such, these young boys that they just boost your energy every day when you see, when they come there, their behaviors, the culture that's been instilled in our academy. So as a coach, it just brings that special energy, and I'm just happy that they said the jersey number 10 is always special. So it looks like the year 10 number 10 has been very special for us, not just for the DDC but also bringing the Nedbank Cup. So Yeah, may it continue. We always want to be successful. We always work hard. You know, every day it's a challenge. Every day we come here, we put in the energy, put in the work to be successful. And like I say, hopefully this is the start of more to come.
Dillon, I mean, the boy next to you has had one of the most beautiful seasons for him personally. I think he's played the most minutes, change of position as well. You know, normally plays as a CDM, played as a half centre back or centre back. For you, when you look at him and where how far he's come, what's your report card on him? And do you think he's ready for the bright lights of the rigors of the first team?
Ntando is I'm just going to go a little bit off of the player. I'm going to go more on the person. I've known Ntando now since I got here, 5 years. Spent a lot of time in the first couple of years in the academy, back and forth. Watches the intensity and what he trains at, his attitude, his discipline towards his work, the extra sessions that he puts in, and then you come and see where he's from and now where he's at. He's got a very, very bright future in the professional game. You talk about the versatility of us using him as a centre back. He was we played with a back three. He was able to step into the midfield, create extra numbers in there. His technical quality with his passing range, he was exceptional. I still remember the second game of the season we played Chippa. I don't know if you remember that game. We went down to 10 men early I think it was midway through the first half. Ntando came on half time. He played more as a hybrid centre back moving into midfield. We ended up winning 2-1 that game. He scored with a header the first goal, so he kind of ignited the game and helped us win. So these are just characteristics of a young player that's got a very, very bright future in the professional game. And we're looking forward to seeing a lot more from him. Also too, it's pride for us, because when a player comes into your system 5 years and you see where he's progressed to, and like I say, he's got all the right. You can have the menu, but if you don't have the ingredients, you're not going to be cooking much. So he's got all the ingredients to make it far in the game.
Dillon, we saw the Majita coach Raymond Mdaka saying that, crediting the DDC a lot for the contribution to Majita's winning the AFCON. Do you agree with that sentiment that the standard has improved in the DDC? Huge
role. I mean, if you go through now the teams this season, I mean, I'll just go. Let's say Richards Bay, Bomelo, Zikali, Ngema. All of them were featured prominently in the DDC season. They're all playing first team. If you look at Stellies with Jurgens, and you look at Tylen Smith has got a look. Abrahams has got a look in the first team. You've got Mdaka, you've got Pili. All these players are playing regularly or on the bench for the first team. So it's played a huge role in regular game time, and also too the competitiveness of the league is really, really got better. So you see these players are now able to make the step, because I thought a couple of years ago that step from DDC to first team was a lot bigger, but I think that gap has definitely gotten smaller, and now you're seeing all the DDC players that are getting game time in the DDC are able to step up and get game time in the first team, which is really, really positive to see. And then now you see our national teams, both under 17, under 20, we're at World Cup, so the development is really, really in a good place.
Ntando, we've seen in the last years Kaizer Chiefs giving an opportunity to a lot of DDC players to play in the first team. I'm sure you'll also be setting your sights on giving an opportunity to play there. We saw Aiden McCarthy get an opportunity last game, and perhaps also play in the Premiership, since we are hearing talks that there is a certain club in the Betway Premiership
I obviously as a player, always dream big to always play in the big league and the big guys. So I think it's been good for us, seeing players coming through from us, having shared the pitch with them, and now they're progressing and doing well in the Premiership. You can see the likes of Abu, Tutuzi, Tuba, Sam, Aiden. So I think it's positive. You can only see it's something that it's possible to be done. If given the opportunity, you must just use it and take it from there, as a stepping stone for your career going forward.
You've won everything. I think you're one of the most decorated players in youth football. You've won the Asian Cup, you've won the Diski Shield, you've won the league now the captain of this DDC side. for you, when you look at where you are now and where you come from, what is the most proud moments of your life and your career?
I think more like development is not more about winning, but it's more like improving as an individual. So I think from where I was and where I am now, I think I've improved a lot, like better than before. So I think it's always about improving each and every game, each and every season. So I think compared to my first season and now, there's a huge difference. So the winning part comes after. So I think I've improved like individually, like on and off the pitch, behavior-wise, everything else. So that's why like it doesn't become hard to lead like such a club, because you improve each and every game, you learn, and so I think that's where then the results they come after.
Dillon, I mean, you mentioned few teams that never had stress or pressure of playing these boys anyhow. But with the performance of Kaizer Chiefs and the position they are in, be it from the point of a mandate, it's very difficult to see these boys shining, only to find them going to shine at other teams later in their future. So what does that say about you guys creating a platform and losing these boys to a point that at some point even affected the DDC performance, where a chunk of boys were taken to the first team but never been seen?
I think we need to look at the positivity of the players we're producing. Not everyone is going to get promoted to your first team. That's reality. With the likes of Mdu and Duba, if you look at them, they're all 2004s, with Mfundo's 2005. So we've already got 4 players that were promoted from our DDC team. So when other players on their pathways are unfortunately not going to go to the first team, they need other places to go to. So they go out and they find their careers. Like you see the likes of Zita, and you like to see Mdansani, who go and find their ways somewhere else, and then they ended up back here. So everyone's got their pathways, everyone's got their ways of finding themselves, and that's just the reality of football. You cannot play 11 DDC players in the first team. And also too, as Chiefs, and you know the pressure on where the team's at, you know, those youngsters that are there at the moment are still finding their feet. And there's a lot of pressure at the moment. So, you know, like I say, it's important that we find these players pathways, and we wish them all the best when they do find their pathways.
And Coach, when you open your computer and you write down the list of being a Kaizer Chiefs player, being as a DDC player or first team player, what are some of those ingredients that are needed to be a full Kaizer Chiefs player?
I think it starts with off the field stuff. It starts with the discipline, the behavior, the desire, the willingness to want to work, because that doesn't take talent. You know, those things have got to come from inside, the fire. And then obviously the talent then takes over, and then you know, the quality of players. Yes, the technical quality is always got to be there, and that feeds from, you know, our young players coming through, as you can see, you know, from the under 13s, under 14s, and you know, when we have the luxury of having players in your academy for 5-6 years, they then, you know the culture of the club, which then makes it easier for the promotion of players, you know, into your first team setup, because the environment is set up for players to thrive into. So those are the important steps, and you know, what we've been saying now is that when we bring in players in at 13, 14, and we have them 6-7 years in our setup, you know, their transition into the first team then becomes a lot easier.
The type of orientation that these young people are given, be it from even financial and mental plans, talk us through the psychological side of having to give orientation to boys coming into the fray.
And I mean, if you just look at our setup with Kaizer Chiefs, if you look at a youngster that's playing for Kaizer Chiefs, the social media profile compared to other players, you can see it's very, very different. Our boys we do have people that come in and educate the boys on how to use the social media platforms, you know, to benefit them, because that's very, very important. Because also too, as we know, you can even see at the DDC level, the pressure that already goes. I mean, you see the stadiums when we play, the stadiums already are full. I mean, there's more, what I've witnessed is there's more fans at DDC games than there are at some of our PSL games. So these young players are getting introduced to that very, very early. And then it's and then it's from us to guide them and educate them, because it's very, very important that they can easily be, when they get to DDC level, they think they've made it because of all the attention and all the hype. Hype is something that we know it's important that you control, because sometimes these boys can get ahead of themselves, and they can be, if they're not properly educated, and also too, boys are going to step out of line. It's only normal, but it's for us to be there to help them, to support them, to guide them, because we're always trying to educate them to know that when they get to first team level, that the levels up there are huge. So.
Are there times where you state that education comes first before any other thing to these young boys, so that they can actually graduate and see that as a second opportunity?
We've got 8 boys, well, 7 in matric, now Butluku's in grade 11. So that's a challenge that we've had in the first 6 months. We can't train almost every day. So, and also too, we have to train train in the afternoons, because we've got half our squad at school. Now we're going into 6 months where they're going to be writing prelims, and so the first thing is that they go away and they're going to study, and they're going to do it. So if they come in, and we might only have 1 training a week where they're going to play games. So yes, we might sacrifice the results, but the long-term goal for them is always education first, and the football comes second. But we are an academy, so football is, but we try and find tailored programs for each and every player. Like, Nao's been at the Under-17 World Cup. We've just had 3 players at the Under-20 World Cup, so some of them are in their studies. So, we get their schedules very early, and then obviously we can tailor the training schedules around that to make sure that they maximize both school, and we can also get them on the training pitch.
Last one.
There's a lot of, I think my colleague did ask you, there's a lot of hype around you now at the moment. How are you trying to deal with that? Who's helping you? What do you say? How do you say it? How do you also not respond to certain things on social media? Because of course there's been a lot of approaches for you. But how are you handling that attention that you're now getting?
I think, as coach said, there's people who help us to manage these things. So even usually when the season is on, they tell us to focus more on the game and not the hype. I think that's what helped us to remain consistent throughout the season, because sometimes when you start playing and you start getting results, you start getting hype, then you lose focus. You see. So I think there's people who help us with how to control the off the pitch stuff. So I think just to remain level-headed and focus on your job, then the rest is gonna follow.
Last one, leader.
Now, as a captain, you're becoming the biggest prospect, be it in social life and otherwise. I just want to find out, Todd, how do you actually manage your lead role as a captain? Because sometimes we'll be measured as in when the ships are down, to say how do you actually motivate the team to come back? Do you believe that you're at the right place, you're vocal enough to be a captain than to just have talent?
Yeah, I think I am, because having spent most time at the club, I've seen better, even better players than me. So I've learned how to lead, especially big team leading. So it's not more about being vocal, but it's more leading by example, actions off the pitch and actions in the field, so that the rest can see and okay, this guy is doing this, let's follow. And we help one another going forward, then it becomes easy for every one of us. So it's not about being a leader, but every one of us being a leader, then it helps us to move forward smoothly.
Do you sometimes get into the technical team when they ask you questions to say, Captain, we see it this way, what is your opinion?
No, the coaches are the coaches, yeah.
On that lighter note, Ntando Nkosi, Captain DDC, Coach Dillon Sheppard, thank you very much for your time. Nice conversations. Good.